When you think about war, you probably picture brilliant generals, precise calculations, and genius strategies. But what if I told you that sometimes the winning move is just really, really dumb? Today, we're diving into some of the most bizarre, seemingly foolish military tactics that, against all odds, actually worked. I know, it sounds like the setup to a very weird joke, doesn't it? But believe it or not, these were actual tactics that really turned the tide in some major conflicts. So let's jump right in. All right, for our first story, we're heading deep into the jungles of the Vietnam War. This is where the US military, feeling the intense psychological strain of guerrilla warfare, decided to fight back, not with more bullets, but with something, well, a lot spookier. So you have to understand the constant threat of ambushes and booby traps was really messing with the minds of American soldiers. To fight back on that level, military planners came up with Operation Wandering Soul. It was a strategy designed to tap into a really important Vietnamese cultural belief that if you aren't buried in your homeland, your soul is doomed to just wander the earth forever in agony. Now, to pull this off, the US military created these unbelievably eerie audio tapes. Just imagine hearing this in the middle of a dark jungle. They mixed spooky Buddhist funeral music with these creepy, synthesized voices of ghosts, supposedly the ghosts of fallen Viet Cong soldiers, begging their buddies to go home. The plan was pretty straightforward, if a little out there. They'd blast these horrifying sounds from helicopters and boats flying over the jungle in the dead of night. And to make it sound legit, they got their South Vietnamese allies to record the voices. The hope was that these ghostly warnings would completely demoralize the Viet Cong and cause them to desert. But here's the twist. The tactic worked, just not in the way anyone expected. Instead of running away scared of ghosts, the Viet Cong soldiers would hear the loudspeakers and just immediately start shooting at them. And what does that do? It gives away their hidden positions, instantly turning them into easy targets. A truly dumb idea that had a brilliantly effective result. All right, so from psychological warfare with ghosts, we're moving on to a deception so wild and, honestly, so ghoulish, it sounds like it was ripped straight out of a spy novel. This is the story of how the Allies in World War II completely fooled the Nazis, all thanks to a man who literally never existed. So, the scene is set, April 1943. The body of a British Royal Marines officer, a Major William Martin, washes up on the coast of Spain. The real kicker? Chained to his wrist is a briefcase, and inside are what look like top-secret plans for an Allied invasion of Greece. Just as the Allies hoped, German sympathizers in Spain got their hands on those documents and rushed them straight to Nazi high command. The whole thing seemed so real. They even sent fake British messages trying to recover the lost briefcase to sell the lie. And get this, Hitler himself was completely convinced. He ordered a massive transfer of troops, planes, and ships to defend Greece, leaving the Allies' real target, Sicily, wide open. The sheer nerve of this plan is just astounding, because the heroic Major Martin was a total fantasy. The body was actually that of Glyndwr Michael, a homeless man from Wales. The planners chose him for a very grim and specific reason. He had died after ingesting rat poison, which filled his lungs with fluid. It created the perfect, tragic illusion of a man who had drowned in a plane crash. This incredible deception saved thousands of Allied lives and almost certainly helped shorten the war. But the story of its most unlikely hero was kept under lock and key. The real identity of Glyndwr Michael wasn't revealed to the public for more than 50 years. Okay, for our final story, we're heading over to the Pacific for a naval battle that is almost too ridiculous to be true. It involves an American destroyer, a Japanese submarine, and, yes, a sack of potatoes. So it's April 1943 again. The American destroyer, the USS O'Bannon, is on patrol when it stumbles upon a Japanese submarine on the surface. The captain tries to ram it, but then pulls away at the last second, worried it might be laying mines. This leaves the two ships just sitting there, right next to each other. Awkward. The American sailors rush to their battle stations, only to realize they have a huge problem. They are so close to the submarine that their main cannons literally can't aim low enough to hit it. And at the same time, the Japanese sailors are scrambling to get to their deck gun, which could easily blow the O'Bannon out of the water from that range. You can imagine the panic on the American ship. They had to stop the Japanese gun crew, but they couldn't shoot them. The sailors started desperately looking around for anything, and I mean anything they could throw. And what do they find on deck? A storage bin full of potatoes. I am not making this up. In a moment of pure desperation, the American sailors started grabbing potatoes and just pelting the Japanese crew with everything they had. And this is where the story goes from weird to legendary. The Japanese sailors, caught completely by surprise in the dark, full of adrenaline, see these small round things flying at them, and they make one critical, hilarious mistake. They thought they were hand grenades. What happened next was just pure chaos. The Japanese crew completely forgot about their gun and instead started frantically trying to grab the potatoes and throw them overboard before they could explode. This bizarre potato fight bought the USS O'Bannon just enough time to pull away. Once it got some distance, the O'Bannon could finally use its actual weapons to sink the submarine. And for their strange but effective victory, the ship's crew later received one of the most unique awards in naval history, a plaque from the Association of Potato Growers of Maine. So after all that, what's the takeaway? These stories show us that winning isn't always about having superior firepower or the best technology. Sometimes it's about clever psychological tricks, unbelievably detailed deception, or, just quick thinking with whatever you've got on hand, even if it's just a potato. It really makes you think, doesn't it? If these are the kinds of dumb ideas that ended up working, what seemingly absurd or unconventional idea out there right now could be the one to solve today's biggest problems? What's the potato that we're all overlooking? Thanks for watching.